But the big news of the day, we got to get into it. The big news of the day, the thing that I lost my mind when I'm not going to say I lost my mind, but I was shocked when I saw this. Let me pull it up because I ain't got my... Kyrie Irving can now play home games in Brooklyn. Shams tweeted earlier today, literally at 6:30, an hour and a half ago, Brooklyn Nets star Kyrie Irving will be cleared for home games as New York City will, on Thursday, change the private sector vaccine mandate to allow exemption for athletes and entertainers in workplace. Unvaccinated Yankees and Mets players are also now eligible to play home games. Y'all, Kyrie Irving is back. Now, I think this couldn't have came at a more perfect time for the Nets. It really could not have come at a more perfect time. They needed Kyrie to be able to play in these home games. They really did. They have a bunch of home games coming up to end out the regular season. And granted, to be honest with you, they're against some not great teams. Like, the Nets are about to look really good over the next couple of games. Let me just pull this up for you guys, so you can see what I'm talking about when I say how good the Nets are about to look over these next couple of weeks to end out the rest of the regular season. So right now, we all know the Nets are 8th in the West as of right now, 8th in the West and at 38 and 34. But when we look at their schedule coming up, the teams who they play coming up tonight, they have a game against the Grizzlies. That's probably going to be a really good game. Right now, the Grizzlies are up 37-29. They have the Nets, another solid team. They're playing that in Miami. But that Hornets game with Kyrie at home, W. Pistons, W. Bucks, now at home with Kyrie. It's going to be a really good game. But if you asked me before, I probably would have said the Bucks are going to win. But now with Kyrie, it can go either way. Hawks should be a W. That's in Atlanta, but still should be a W. The Nets are a better team, in my opinion. Nets at home against the Rockets, W. Nets versus Knicks, also New York, should be a W. Nets at home versus the Cavs, should be a W. Nets at home against the Pacers, should be another W. Guys, listen, I'm telling you right now, mark my words. Mark my words right now. We're about to hear a lot of Nets are going to the finals. Nets are scary. You know, we're going to start to see the scary hours, stuff like that. And this ain't even me hating. I'm so excited to see Kyrie actually being able to play basketball finally. So excited to see him play. Rage says Ben Simmons probably still won't play this season. Honestly, at this rate, I don't think we're going to see him at all. I don't think we're going to see him at all. We had the news come out last week that he had the epidural shot. Then it turns out that he has a herniated disc. And once you start getting into that territory with stuff wrong with your vertebrae and you start having herniated disc issues and stuff like that, you don't play around with that. You know what I mean? That stuff can potentially take a while to heal. That's the type of stuff that could potentially require surgery to fix. Like, that's the type of territory you get into when you start talking about herniated discs. My stepdad actually had a herniated disc last year and he had to get surgery for it. They tried physical therapy. They tried to get it back into place just through therapy, training, doctors, stuff like that. It didn't work. Now, my stepdad's not a NBA elite athlete like Ben Simmons is, so maybe his body can recover a little bit better naturally, if you will, without requiring surgery. But I don't see him coming back at all this season, because either it's going to take a long road through personal training or he's going to have to get surgery, and that is going to take even longer. That's going to take even longer. Rage, I agree. Ben having a herniated disc at the age of 25 is bad. Ben Simmons is still just 25? That's wild. Wait. Ben Simmons' age? He's really still just 25? Yeah, that's crazy. Man, listen. Ben Simmons, 25 years old, 3 years younger than me, and makes so much money. Life ain't fair. Yeah, herniated discs are usually people in their 30s, people in their 40s, like you said. And Carolwick and Rage, we're gonna talk about Zion. He's on. Y'all know I'm a Zion guy. Y'all know for a fact I'm a Zion guy. He's definitely on my list of guys to talk about this evening. Hold on. So in terms of where I think the Nets can go from here, right? I just said how easy their schedule is going to look, or how easy their schedule looks. At least to me, their schedule looks really, really easy going forward. And with Kyrie being back playing at home games, it's the perfect time for him to come back, because it'll give them the opportunity to get consistent reps. And honestly, we've seen it over these last couple of weeks. Kyrie dropped that 50, then he drops to 60. He's just looked so poised. He's looked so efficient. He looks just fluid when he's playing and the away games that he's played. But now the team has the opportunity to get him really integrated into the system, to get the other guys really used to playing with him, and to really ramp up and get good going into the playoffs. The Nets are about to be really, really, really scary. I'm telling you right now, them second seed teams, they don't want to see the Nets in the first round. No one wanted to really see the Nets in the first round beforehand, when Kyrie potentially couldn't play in home games. So you might have had him just for 4 games. But with Kyrie available, it opens so much for the Nets. It really does. It really opens up so much for the Nets. And I think we're going to finally see them be the team we expected them to be going into the season. Now, granted, of course, they don't have James Harden. Because initially, we thought we had a 3-headed monster with KD, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving. But just the dynamic duo of KD and Kyrie is honestly has potential to be the best duo in the league. It really does have the potential to be that type of energy. The best duo in the league. That's how good these players are. They're absolutely scary. And circling back to the Ben Simmons situation, because I saw Rage say people don't understand how serious of an injury that is. I agree. A lot of people don't. And I think I even saw some people saying that they were curious if he was still essentially capping, because the whole situation that happened in Philadelphia, and it's usually Philly fans that are saying he's capping, that he's lying, which is understandable. They're mad. I get it. And they didn't necessarily believe his injury at first. They were saying he just wants to sit out. It's a mental health thing, whatever. And honestly, even if it was a mental health thing or whatever, that can, in my opinion, that should still be taken seriously. But now when it's coming out that it's an actual herniated disc, that's a real injury. And regardless of how I feel about a player, of how they left the situation, or how they left a team, or how they're performing on or off the court, I hate injuries in the NBA. I like the NBA too much to be happy to see a player injured. Like, I think I like just watching good basketball more than I'm a Sixers fan. Because at the end of the day, I mean, my boys would say it all the time. They'd be like, Hawk, you ain't even really a Sixers fan, because they'll hear me rooting for this team. They'll hear me rooting for that team. It's because I just really like basketball. I really like watching NBA basketball. So I hate injuries. I really, really do. I wish Ben Simmons was healthy, because I agree. If Ben Simmons was on this team, you know how good this team would look if he was healthy, playing like Ben Simmons was playing last year before the playoffs. And yes, Rage, why would you fake it herniated disc out of all the injuries to fake? And that's what I said before. Why would he fake an epidural shot? Why would you get an epidural shot if you don't need an epidural shot? That was just my 2 cents on the whole situation. But shout out to the Nets. Your team does not want to face them. The Heat, they don't want to see them in the first round. The Bucks, they don't want to see them in the first round. I'm not saying there's immediate sweeps either. Like, I'm not saying the Heat have no shot. I'm not saying the Bucks have no shot. I'm not even saying the Sixers have no shot of beating the Nets. But what I am saying is that's just not the type of matchup you want in the first round. It's going to be great for us as fans to watch something like that. It's going to be amazing. Absolutely amazing for us to watch as fans. But somebody going to go home disappointed. Some fan base, some teams, some players, somebody's going to go home disappointed.